The story is told of two brothers, as different as can be, where one was strong, the other was weak, where one excelled, the other struggled. Their passions led them to be at head with each other, to be at odds with each other, and as adults led them to pursue different jobs. Although both became farmers, one pursued raising animals, primarily, mostly sheep, the other grew crops. Now, becoming adults did not settle the differences between them. In fact, maybe it accentuated it. Maybe living down the road didn't seem to really help it out all that much. It began to boil over into other areas of their life, including their relationship with God. Both of them brought gifts to God to see who would be accepted, but only one of them brought what was required. And so God rejected the elder brother's gift. Well, this became the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. And the anger that was beneath the surface came boiling up. And God addressed this with the older brother. He said, hey, if you do what is right, you'll be accepted also. Let go of this anger that doesn't make any sense. But he would not let go of his anger. In fact, he began to feed it, and it turned into a hatred until eventually he led his younger brother out into the field on a pretense, and there he murdered his brother. Many of you will recognize this story. It is the true story of the first murder ever recorded, and it stands as a warning to us. In 1 John chapter 3, John, the apostle of Jesus, warned us that we should not be like Cain, the eldest brother, who murdered his brother because Abel, his younger brother, did what was righteous. John warns us that anyone who hates those around us is not following God, because that which defines Christians is true, selfless love. Remember on Sunday we talked about how God is love, and that the love that we're talking about was defined by Jesus' sacrifice of himself for others. We discussed that love is not God, but that everything that he does is loving, and that he has called us to love in the same way. We mentioned that in order to do that, we need God living in us, and for us to be living in God, and then that love will flow out of our lives. After I got done talking, Angie came up to lead us in worship, but before she did that, she read to us out of 1 John 3 about God's love for us and the call to live out that love practically. And you know what? She was absolutely right. John, in his first letter, continues to circle back to the topic of love. He just keeps coming back around to it, until he gets deeper and deeper into it, where in 1 John chapter 4, he talks about how God is love. Perhaps the most potent of the verses in 1 John 3 is verse 18. It's short, but very powerful. It says, "Little children, let us not love in word or talk, but in deed and in truth." He challenges us that we need to go beyond a conversation about love and instead carry it out practically as we live. James picks up on this when he talks about faith. He tells us, if a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, be warmed and filled," without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that? I've been proud of how we as a church have tried to step out and help out those in our congregation as they have struggled through needs. I've consistently heard stories of how people have shown this practical love to those who sit next to them on Sunday mornings. But there are many more people who are not in the church, who need that practical form of love shown to them. I want to encourage you today to be thinking about those in Bronson, those in Orland, those in the surrounding communities that we represent, that we're a part of, and how we can show God's selfless love to them. Let's get practical in how we love and reach our community with God's greatness.